August evening in 1863, after an exhausting day at the White House, Lincoln rode along by horse to the soldiers' home, his family's summer residence. A private at the gate heard a shot ring out, and moments later, the horse galloped into the compound with his bare head as Lincoln clinging to his steed. Steed is a steed horse.
Right.
Yes.
I know what a steed is.
I know you do, but some of the listeners may not.
Okay.
That's why I'm here.
There you go. Actually, you're here because you're amazing and you're cute, but you know.
And we appreciate you. Get a little trigger happy there, sister.
Sorry. Where was I? Lincoln explained that a gunshot had gone off at the foot of the hill, sending the horse galloping so fast it knocked his hat off. Two soldiers retrieved Lincoln's hat, which had a bullet hole right through it. The president asked the guards to keep the incident under wraps. He didn't want to worry his wife, Mary.
Yeah, I mean, what you gonna do?
Right, but what are you gonna do? You can't really do anything.
That was very considerate that he didn't want to worry Mary, though.
Right, but I feel like wives should know that stuff. Like, oh, you almost got hurt? Well, let's protect you from now on.
Right?
Well, she was busy carrying all the White House silver to a camp in Gettysburg so that they could fight the vampires.
Okay. Before William...
Abe Lincoln Vampire Hunters is a real history movie, right?
We're just gonna say William Sherman because I cannot say the middle name.
Okay.
William Tecumseh Sherman?
Yes.
Tecumseh.
Okay.
He became a great Union general. He was demoted for apparent insanity. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. You're using the In October 1861, William
Tecumseh, yeah.
Sherman, commander of the Union forces in Kentucky, told U.S. Secretary of War Simon Cameron he needed 60,000 men to defend his territory and 200,000 to go on the offensive. Cameron called Sherman's request insane and removed the general from command. In a letter to his brother, a devastated Sherman wrote, "I do think I should have committed suicide. Were it not for my children, I do not think that I can be trusted with command." Now, before we move on, I realize that that's an amazing sentence that I should have committed suicide. Like we always say here, if you want to commit, talk. Because the best thing that you can do is live on this earth with other people and make other people happy. Even if you're not happy right now, you can find someone that makes you happy. And you can hang on them and you can...
Suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary problem. If you feel sad, if you feel like you want your life to end, seek help.
Yes. You don't have to hang on them all the time, but do remember that they are there to help you so you can get to feeling better.
Yeah.
And suicide is never the answer.
Exactly.
Good job, Krysta.
Thank you.
I was proud of you.
But in February 1862, Sherman was reassigned to Paducah.
Paducah.
Under
Or, well, most Kentuckians would pronounce it Paducah.
Paducah. But under
Ulysses S. Grant.
S. Grant, yes. Ulysses S. Grant, who saw not insanity but competence and disgraced the general. Later in war, when the civilian badmouthed Grant, Sherman defended his friend, saying General Grant is a great general. He stood by me when I was crazy, and I stood by him when he was drunk. And now, sir, we stand by each other always. Now, see, he found someone in the end who made him happy, which is why I'm saying
he found a friend who. That's right. He found a friend who helped him find his happiness again. But yeah, you never know where that's going to happen. Absolutely.
And Grant,
you never know what you'll find money in, you know?
And Grant went on to become a president.
He did.
All right. Well, that's my facts for today. The question is...
Oh, there's a question.
Okay, of course there is. There is always a question. If you were, let's say,
U.S. president, what would your Civil War look like?
No.
Darn it. You never did that question.
Yeah, well, it's close to that. If you were a U.S. president, what would you do first? Mom, since you seem to be wanting to answer this question.
I would rename all of the streets in Washington after color.
So you wanted to be called Blue Street and Pink Street?
No, like not regular primary and secondary colors, like obscure colors, like chartreuse.
Chartreuse! Street chartreuse, Ma! Dad, what do you want to do first?
Absolutely.
Boy.
Street Aquaman.
Boy, what would I do first?
You know, I think he's probably.
I think he destroyed them.
I would immediately attempt to draft legislation that said that anybody that wanted to serve in office should ipso facto be prevented from doing so. Meanwhile, if you see someone on your street that's mowing their lawn or painting their house, send that person to Washington right away. Because an average person who takes care of their stuff probably going to try to do a good, conscientious job as a senator or as a representative. Whereas someone who wants power should under no circumstances be allowed to have it. And I would try to codify that into a law and get it passed. That'd be my first action.
The first thing I'd do... so much power. I'd make it illegal to hate on the LGBTQ. That's rude.
It is rude, and I'm with you. All right, so.
Legal. In my book.
All right.
The book of college rules. 5 subjects.
Now, first, I want to talk a little bit about the Civil War, and then we're going to get into
a little bit more about the Civil War because Krysta just gave us some great facts.
Yes, she did. Very nice. But I want to get into that a little bit, and then I want to talk about the history of Gettysburg in particular. The Civil War was a bad time to be an American. It was a fight that led, one of the things that's said about it is that brother fought against brother, and that is true. Within families, slavery, which was the abject reason we were all there. Now, there are people that will tell you the Civil War was about states' rights, but I've never had a discussion with states' rights that made me want to punch somebody, much less shoot a gun at them. And so,
Much less?
yeah, I'm sure much less shoot a gun at them. So I'm going to keep that, it was kind of about the slavery because it was kind of, that was the thing that happened, is they freed the slaves. Anyway, the point is that it was a dark time in American history for a lot of reasons, not just because it divided families and states and everything else, but it also created a situation where more men were dying than had ever died in wars before at that point. And some of it was just the sheer insanity of treatment. Because treatment for the Civil War, man, a musket ball would hit your shoulder and shatter it. That people's limbs were cut off, and I mean, not in pristine sessions like happens now. They would give a guy some vodka or some bourbon.
If he was lucky.
Yeah, that was their anesthetic. Give him a shot of bourbon, get him a little drunk, and then strap him down and take the leg. That was how they did things.
Literally, what?
Well, sometimes they would just start cutting and, he would scream until he passed out from the pain, and then they would finish the surgery. I mean... Right.
Yeah, sometimes they just stuff a rag in their mouth or give them something to bite on.
Yep.
It's crazy.
You bite on this until your pain stops. It'll help.
So, the Civil War was a dark time in American history. And the Battle of Gettysburg happened July 1st to 3rd, 1863. It was the largest battle of the American Civil War, as well as the largest battle ever fought in North America, involving around 85,000 men in the Union Army of the Potomac under Major General George Gordon Meade, and approximately 75,000 in the Confederacy's Army of Northern Virginia, commanded by General Robert E. Lee. Casualties at Gettysburg totaled 23,000, over 23,000 for the Union, which was 3,155 dead, over 14,000 wounded, over 5,000 missing. Confederate casualties were around 28,000, with almost 4,000 dead, over 18,000 injured, and over 5,000 missing, which was more than a third of Lee's army. These largely irreplaceable losses to the South's largest army, combined with the Confederate surrender of Vicksburg, Mississippi on July 4th, marked what is widely regarded as a turning point, perhaps the turning point in the Civil War. Although the conflict would continue for nearly 2 more years and witness several more major battles, including Chickamauga, Spotsylvania Courthouse, Monocacy, Nashville, and others. So that is the history of Gettysburg itself. We're talking an